Hey guys, I wanted to make a video on the inauguration and all the headlines surrounding that because I know a lot of the things we've been seeing has been making people go,
What? Oh hell no! Hell no!
and yeah, a lot of things have just been happening in terms of Trump's legislative agenda, as we learned from his last term and just the day after his inauguration. He's doing basically a bed of nails tactics, where if there's so many things that you disagree with that he does or signs, it's hard to keep track of, everything. Just today, he signed an executive order which rescinded, I believe it was something like 30, 35, something like that, of Biden's executive orders, which obviously is a lot because each of them were their own separate policy. So he's being very active with executive orders. But I want to make this video to just try to break it down to what I think are the most interesting or pressing parts that we should know about. I want to first talk about the magic of Trump. That being the fact that he, even though he was parading around like a populist, he invited almost every conceivable big tech CEO to the inauguration, and they actually went. You could see them sitting right near Trump. And I looked it up because I was really interested. Just like the net worth of these people are within, I believe, probably the hundreds of billions, if not trillions, all combined. And it's just crazy to think about because he portrayed himself as this populist, as this anti-establishment candidate, and we have inauguration guests probably his guest list is probably the richest inauguration has ever had. He portrays to be a populist. He invites all these billionaires, leading the industry of today, for anywhere from TikTok to Facebook or now Meta to obviously X to Google even. And it's just crazy that he can have all these mega rich guests. And not only that, but leave his supporters in the cold. We have people who literally came from Wyoming, from all these red states, that went all the way to the trip to DC just to see their favorite politician get inaugurated, their favorite guy winning, and he can't even go out because it was too cold. Um, and while yeah, it has happened in the past where it was too cold, you would just think like this guy who's like positioning himself as like a machismo, as like he can do anything, he's just too cool. If he don't give a fuck, all these things, and he can't even go in the cold for his supporters. I mean, pairing that with the fact that he had all these mega rich billionaires behind him during the inauguration, it paints a really interesting picture. I think that this so-called populist chooses to be next to the people he's supposedly so against instead of his actual supporters. Next, I want to talk about just the huge switch on so-called law and order and tough on crime, where nowadays it doesn't really look like he will be. I mean, he freed almost all the vast majority, if not all, of January 6th insurrectionists that were convicted, that were charged, that were convicted. Some served out their sentence, some were still in prison, and these people were not good people. I mean, he freed no Nazis. He freed people who assaulted police officers, who brutalized police officers, who just made a mockery of this nation, make a mockery of our, public taxpayer-funded capital. And he just pardoned the vast majority, if not all of them. And it's just crazy to think about that he's positioned himself of this like strong, tough on crime guy, but now all of a sudden they're hostages. They're not criminals, they're hostages, which is ridiculous. And he's made attempts, and other people have also made attempts at trying to say that, while yeah, he is pardoned, his pardon wasn't that great. Biden also pardoned people on his way out that was kind of scummy. These two are so different. I mean, for one example, Biden's pardons were preemptive pardons, meaning they were not at all convicted, charged. I mean, you could just ask them if they say, "Oh, Fauci, his family was all pardoned. You know, why would they do that?" I would just ask them, "What crime did they commit? What crime would they commit?" They would never tell you the actual crimes they committed because there weren't any crimes committed. And to compare these two groups of people, with the one group being people who were charged, convicted, to people who were not convicted, not even charged, and let's say even if they were charged, they were nowhere near any type of violent crimes, right? To compare these two groups of people, that's crazy. That's insane. And yeah, and needless to say, Biden for sure would have never pardoned, done these preemptive pardons if Trump chose to appoint an actual rational person to to lead the FBI. Right now, it looks like it will be Kash Patel. I say it looks like because the Trump administration is very well known to have a lot of turnover. I mean, even Vivek Ramaswamy got the boot pretty quickly, even before the inauguration. I believe like a day before, maybe the day of. So I say it looks like it's going to be Kash Patel, and well, I will just show a clip here of his unhinged threats.
Find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice.
Now I'm going to give Musk his own special section because, as many have been talking about, he did a certain salute some would call a Roman salute, or you know what? I'll just let you watch the full clip here.
Thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
And basically, people are arguing whether he definitely meant that, you know, he's doing a Nazi salute, or whether he was, you know, just weirdly trying to say my heart goes out to you. That's kind of the debate that's online right now, and also in person on news stations, you're saying. And I just want to put it in perspective. If people are not sure whether or not you do a Nazi salute, I think that in itself is kind of crazy. The fact that in front of a presidential, you know, seal of approval, one of the probably most powerful people in the world right now, and we don't know whether he did a Nazi salute twice. So just in that fact that we're not sure is a problem. Now let's look at all of other Musk's behavior. He supported the AfD, which is a far-right populist organization in Germany right now, who's in parliament. He has supported them. By the way, this is the same party that has actually been indicted in German courts for anti-Semitic beliefs. So he supports that party. He has publicly supported that party very recently. He has retweeted and shared Nazi talking points and memes on his X profile.
Yeah, and he also tweeted Nazi puns on Twitter after this whole situation. And not only that, but he also starred in an AfD rally where he talked about Germans' past guilt and how they got to move past that. And they shouldn't lose their German culture and values through multiculturalism. So, yeah, that's great.
Whether or not it was exactly a Nazi salute, I don't think it would be wrong for a lot of people to assume that it was, because, well, it looked like one, and his previous positions aligned with it. It very well could have been a Nazi salute. I would move now on to the things that are just, well, virtue signaling for the right, and quite frankly, very cringe. I mean, I want everyone, as we're going through the list here in this section, to just imagine if Biden did anything like this. So firstly, famously, Trump signed an executive order on his first day to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Wow, amazing. Everyone clap. It's a please clap, Jeb Bush. Um, like that is just imagine if Biden or the Democrats did anything that hilariously stupid. Like who does this help? Who does this literally does nothing. And to pretend that like it does, like this is why people voted for him, is just silly. I mean, and same thing with the whole Mount McKinley. He wants to name this mountain to Mount McKinley. And the same kind of arguments where it's just like, who cares. And then just if Biden did this, conservatives and all the conservative commentators and every conservative would be on his throat for like just wasting time, wasting taxpayer money, just doing this for no reason. And he also, the America now recognizes only two genders. And once again, who like no one cares. Like this won't affect a single person, quite frankly, just because for like the federal government, it has no jurisdiction to really enforce this in any way. So it really does not matter. Imagine if Biden went into office and signed an executive order saying there's more than two genders. How freaked all the conservatives would be about wasting time, about not helping people with their egg prices or grocery prices. It's just hilarious, really. It would be too much of a parody if it wasn't real life. Now I'm gonna end here with the last section here is just about the things that have gotten stalled in court, and probably the most consequential things that Trump has tried to do on his first day. So that would the first thing I'm going to talk about is just with the birthright citizenship. Trump signed an executive order where if the mother gives birth on U.S. soil, but the mother is undocumented, the child no longer is a citizen. With birthright citizenship previously, it was much more of a like universal thing. No matter what, if you're born in America, boom, you're an American citizen. And Trump is trying to stop that. Thankfully, this has been stalled in court and will likely die in court just because of the long precedent of birthright citizenship. It has been stopped by, I believe, ACLU is in court right now trying to end that policy. And then also something that is actually, I would argue, even more scary because it is, I believe, more likely to pass. Trump signed an executive order to civil servants or at-will employees, basically, and it instated also in Trump's previous term, but he said he will use it this term specifically to go after Biden bureaucrats. And this is a problem because many of these employees, these civil servants, are experts in their fields, are nonpartisan, and just basically follow orders. But this executive order would make it so that they can be just fired anytime by Trump. And it's really scary because then you would have people running the government, like the logistical shit, like the people you talk to on phone lines, things like that shouldn't be political. They could very well be MAGA stooges that just Trump put in because he didn't like the bureaucrat earlier, even though that new person has no expertise compared to the previously fired person. Now I wanted to wrap up here just thanking y'all for watching this entire video. I know it's very tiring. I mean, we're only 2 days and all of this news coming out feels like, I guess, returning back to Trump's previous term, for lack of better words. But, don't get burnt out. Don't, disengage. We need people engaged. We need people knowing what's going on. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any video ideas. This video is actually kind of prompted by some feedback I got, like requesting this video. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any specific video ideas, or if you disagree with me, or you just want to have a conversation. In terms of what's next for this channel, I have a couple of ideas that you might be seeing on screen if I'm good at editing. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and please like and comment and do all those good things.